Fresh out the box.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Fresh Out, the podcast. The only podcast where you can see three assholes. Nah, there's lots of podcasts like that. I'm Johannanon.
I will pull my pants back up. I thought we were going to do a bit where we all showed our buttholes.
I also thought about showing our buttholes.
Oh, well.
It's good radio.
Passed. It's me, Casualty CDG, co-host of Fresh Out the Podcast and Fresh Out the Box. I'm happy to be here this week.
And no, your eyes are not deceiving you, nor are your ears. This is not also Gary, but his identical twin, Zach DeVille. The guy with the face for radio and no other talents.
I thought you were Drew. What happened to Drew?
Yeah, what happened to Drew? I thought you were Drew this whole time.
I killed him.
You...
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm starting to be able to piece that together. That makes sense.
Drew is in Austin for a film festival, and he has been dropping little breadcrumbs, 7 to 10 minute episodes of Fresh Out the Podcast with just Drew. And he is talking about movies that he is seeing that no one else is seeing. So check it out. He talked about Smile, and then he talked about some other movie recently that I didn't get to listen to that one. The Menu. Yeah. And so check those out if you want to see some pretty in-depth horror movie coverage. Spooky season is upon us. What do you guys like to do during spooky season? Yeah,
you want to go first, Gary?
You know, I'm not generally a big spooky season guy.
It's not for everybody.
I'm not a huge fan of horror movies, but I do quite enjoy costumes. And since we moved, I'm not sure if we're going to do anything, right? Maybe we'll, do trick-or-treating, give out, a trunk-or-treat, do kids and candy, but, it's not really, a big thing. I guess we like Halloween, and we decorate in our house, but no traditions, so to speak.
I fucking love spooky season. That's also my busiest season of the year, running Rocky Horror and doing all sorts of other performances and whatnot. So I'm going to be fucking busy this spooky season.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I never thought I was the kind of person that enjoyed it, but I am. I like the movies that are on TV. I like monster movies. I like zombies, as everybody knows. And Jenny's really into it. She really enjoys it. We like watching... We're going to watch Hocus Pocus like we do every year. I personally enjoy watching Over the Garden Wall during this time of year. And
fuck yes, I watched that for the first time last spooky season,
Ooh.
And I will continue to watch it every spooky season from now on.
So I take it you liked it then.
I loved
Instant
it. I had no idea that your handle Rock Fact came from.
Yes, my handle at Rock Fact does indeed come from that show.
Until I thought, that's where Jahan got it. I thought he was just stupid.
Well, I did get it from a children's cartoon show, so that's fine.
Yeah, but not like that stopped us from doing anything.
It's fair.
We all watch children's cartoons.
We all do. We are all pretty big cartoon consumers. Trash Boat. There's apparently actually a band called Trash Boat. I was listening the other day and I was like, what the hell is this?
What about Fist Pump?
Fist Pump. Yeah, that's a good name as well. What would you name your band? If it was like an 80s rock band.
Ooh.
Kleenex Globe.
What? Kleenex Globe?
Yeah, I did the exact thing they did in the episode.
Oh, you looked at two things?
Show. I looked at two things real quick.
Diet Coke shirt.
Right. I'll be the Velvet Giraffe.
Oh, that's actually good.
Velvet Giraffes?
Yeah, that actually sounds really
Ooh, Sherlock Holmes Ring Light. There's a good name.
That sounds like a 80s dark wave synth band.
It definitely does, but it's come full circle, and that band could exist now and be an 80s dark wave synthwave band.
Let's do it. Let's get together. Yeah, spooky season's exciting.
I like haunted houses. Professional haunted houses. I always think those are a blast. Get a group of people together and go just get the shit scared out of you and then get out of there. I always thought that was a good time, but that's another thing with moving away from a big city. I'm not sure that we're not going to have the same options or the same flavors of haunted houses here.
Yeah, you're much more likely to actually be murdered out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. We could just walk out into the desert and go across the bridge into no man's land, where there's outlaw housing, and that would be very terrifying. It's like Hills Have Eyes shit out there.
Oh, yikes. Haunted houses hit different for me these days because I'm friends with most of the people who are working them. So I try and walk through. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, hey, what's up? Oh, shit, where'd you come from?
Yeah,
so it's kind of ruined a little bit of the scare part of it, but it's still just fun to see all the hard work that they put into those things.
Well, it's no secret that you hate good fun, so I'm not surprised that you don't like them as much.
I forgot Zach hates fun. That's fun.
I do hate fun.
It's fair.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Fuck fun.
So the topic of the time right now, the hot button issue, Andor, just came out on Disney Plus this past week. Dropped 3 hot steaming episodes right in our box. So far, what are your initial impressions here?
So I wanted to say something real quick. Whenever these streaming shows come out, I always wonder why they picked X number of episodes.
Yeah.
Why did you release 1? Why did you release 2 or 3? So when I saw 3 episodes of Andor, I was like, oh, hooray, 3 episodes of a Star Wars show. And I was really excited. So what do you guys think sort of is the decision process for a streaming service when they're looking at their series and all the producers and everyone sitting in a room? Because it's not always 1, and it's not always 3. It's interesting.
I think they might look at like the entire final product and see like, all right, when does it kind of start picking up? You know, when can we, cut it into pieces? And for at least Andor, at least from my opinion, it didn't really pick up till episode 3. So
I agree. And what I was going to say is that I thought that Lord of the Rings, when it came out, there were 2 episodes. And I felt like I needed 2, because that second one really hooked me. The first one was fine, the second one hooked me. And Andor, the first episode and second episode I thought were just kind of meh, but the third one really hooked me.
I was kind of on my phone the first 2 episodes, and even the first time I watched the third one, I was still on my phone from episode 2. So before we are recording right now, I rewatched the third one, and it is quite good.
Yeah, I actually agree with both of you about the reasoning. I think that they go through and look like, when are they hooked? The first episode of Andor I really liked. It showed a lot of cool stuff. He goes to a brothel, kills 2 guys. Cool. It's dope. It's like super like noir. I don't know, man. It's just a different Star Wars feel. And then
doesn't feel like Star Wars at all.
Yeah.
In a good way.
In the best way. Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, but that's like the same reason why I loved Rogue One. It's just a different feel.
Same.
And this has that. But by the third episode was insane. It was insane. Skarsgård, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to expect from him. But he killed it.
That warehouse shootout with all those like engine blocks.
With the engine blocks was out of control, man.
That was awesome. So that's like the secret to any good action scene is you just take the thing that the people are doing and then you turn it up to 11, right? Like a gunfight, you can have a gunfight anywhere, but it's not cool unless there are engine blocks the size of a tank falling or you're doing it on a helicraft. Like a gunfight in the street, who gives a shit? Anyone can do that.
Yeah, and they like anchored the one to that one ship as the guy was trying to fly away.
Oh, that was hilarious.
The junkyard hooked him up? Yeah, so to me, that signified that the boss guy at the junkyard in that orange jumpsuit is almost certainly going to come back as a recurring character, one of the lead rebels. He's already got all those workers working for him. He took down that ship. And then as events started to unfold, you could see the Rebel Alliance forming right there in the city, all because the Empire showed up hunting the main guy whose name just escaped me.
Andor.
Cassius Andor?
I think, Cassian Andor.
Cassian Andor.
Andor is all you need to know.
I'm gonna be honest. I forgot about him entirely, and I never learned his name. And when I saw that Andor was going to be a show, I thought it was a planet.
I also did not know what Andor was when they first announced it. I was like, cool, whatever this is going to be looks great. Drew and Jahan had to remind me that he was a character from a movie.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I was like, oh, he's the guy from Rogue One. I never bothered to learn his name because I don't remember him at all.
See, man, that's what I like about our podcast, though. Like, we're not, the top tier gatekeeping, like, we know everything, nerds. We're accessible. We have a reasonable level of knowledge, and we're not gonna lord it over you.
I like Star Wars a whole lot, but I don't love it.
Yeah, you're not sitting there studying the Star Wars encyclopedia so that you can like win.
The Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia is not my homepage.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so Andor was great. They dropped 3 seasons. First episode, I really enjoyed a lot. I thought it was very good. Second episode, a lot of exposition, but you learn about this new planet. What's it called? Canary?
Yeah. And so the first episode, I agree. He does something. At least something happens, right? He does something. He's looking for his sister. He accidentally kills a guard and then on purpose kills the second one to try to clean up his crap, and then he dips. So that is to me, that's a pretty good first episode.
It's really
good.
I
think that might have been enough just to hook me. And so then the second episode I thought was super weak. And then the third episode came back stronger than ever. All the shootouts on that planet and them running around from building to building and shop to shop just made that planet seem like such an endless labyrinth. I loved that city and that setting.
City's really cool. Thank God we're not on a desert planet.
Not yet.
It's not. It's not Tatooine or Jakar. Is it Jakar?
I think so. The one that Rey's from. Yeah.
It's not Jakar. It's something else. But yeah. I mean.
Yeah, no.
Desert
Jakar
planets.
is the villain from Aladdin. Get your head out of your ass.
But. So yeah, it's a fresh new set. Yeah, the second one I liked the introduction of like the company, like it's like a corporate enemy kind of thing. But I was worried, you know how they build stuff up for like way too long and then you never get any payoff. The next episode, they go balls deep, and so I appreciate that. I respect that. You got to see what they were all about.
It also sounded like they slid some lore in for people who were listening for lore, where they said something about the Empire using private mercenaries and working in sort of a segmented way. These different branches of private mercenaries. And so I was always wondering, at what point are the stormtroopers and the clone troopers no longer Jango Fett's and Boba Fett's? Like, when are they dying out?
I think the transition is happening during the show.
I think that's exactly what they were explaining, is we're hiring private mercenaries. Like, oh, okay, that's where they all went. They're all retired.
All of their ships they look like old Clone Wars dropships. They look like clone ships, if you noticed. And so
noticed. That's awesome.
Yeah, all the ships that they landed in, they look just. It was the same because what's his name drives one too, the Mandalorian. They all drive that same like style ship.
Mandalorian has that Naboo starfighter.
That's his new ship. He used to have a different thing.
Yes, he did.
I think his was also a Clone Wars ship, but they all look the same. So I don't know. Not a car guy. Maybe I'm not a ship guy.
Yeah, me neither.
I'd have to go back and look. I'm a ships guy. I don't think that's the same ship, but I could be wrong. I know I've been wrong before.
They mention his name so many times. But yeah, so far I really like Andor, and I'm looking forward to more.
How many episodes is it gonna be? Do we know?
That's a great question. I would merit a guess to say it would be more than 6, since they released 3.
8.
Hopefully,
8.
Jahani trying to do some fact checking back there in the background.
Yeah,
we'll see where we're at, where we land on amount of episodes. I think maybe we'll see some Darth Vader, right? Maybe we'll see some like glimpses of what's going on in the Empire throughout the ship. I read today that James Earl Jones is no longer going to be the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah,
he's signed over the rights.
Yeah, he sold the rights to his own voice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is
It's kind of baller. That
kinda
means
weird.
they're going to be parading his corpse through the street for generations.
Man, whenever I heard about deepfakes, that's what I want to do. I want to sell my entire likeness to like WB, and they could just use me in everything forever from now on, and I don't give a shit. I'll just give it to you. Just have it. I want to be in everything. Don't even pay me. Someone's gonna do it. I want to be the first guy.
You'll be dead, so what does it matter if you get paid or not?
Yeah, it won't matter. It just will. And you'd be so famous that you would just get paid from other crap, right? Just from doing the interview circuit about how stupid of a choice it was to sell your entire likeness for like $1,000.
It's like getting Subway tattooed on your face.
Eat fresh.
Eat fresh. 12 episodes of Andor are going to be season 1. That's a lot.
Oh shit. That is.
That's good.
You got oh shit in stereo.
Yeah. Very excited for that. 12's good. So Razor Quest is what the Mandalorian drives. That is not a clone
That's
ship.
right. The Razor
It's
Crest.
sick though.
Dope.
Sick. But the ones that the company drove did look like the clone ships a lot.
I feel like we can't talk about Andor without talking about Rogue One, right? We talked about Rogue One, but we didn't talk about was son of a bitch, I just lost his name. The guy who voices the droid.
The red droid?
The awesome droid in Rogue One.
Oh.
Is it Alan Tudyk?
It is Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that droid is unfortunately not going to make a comeback, but I think Alan Tudyk has some other projects he's been working on, one of which I have been watching and cannot recommend highly enough to everyone.
You were telling me about that the other day. I need to actually start watching that.
I would like to talk about Resident Alien.
Okay.
So this is a show on Peacock. And I know that, Peacock is... I want to talk about Hulu, too. First, I'll talk about this on Peacock. Hulu's losing a lot of shows. Peacock's gaining a lot of shows. And so while I was on Peacock poking around, I see Resident Alien. And I'm like, what in the hell is Resident Alien? Well, it's an Alan Tudyk show where he's an alien who came to Earth to destroy and kill everyone. And his device broke up when he was coming into orbit over Colorado. So now he's living in this small Colorado mountain town, and he has replaced a doctor, and the other doctor in the town was mysteriously murdered. So now the police go to him since he's the only doctor in town, and they put him on the case. He has no human skills, only what he's learned from watching Law & Order. It is absolutely hilarious. There are definitely autopsies and some gross stuff because he's investigating a death, and also trying to hide the fact that he's killing people to take their, body, the body of the guy that he took. He's just constantly digging himself a hole in this show, and it's hilarious. He's super lovable and quirky. And a lot of times they'll switch and do the actual alien makeup and the full alien costume of him interacting with people on the street. Only 1 in 1,000 people can see his true alien form. Everyone else sees a human being. So when you see the alien doing stuff, it's super funny. Like riding a horse, putting on a cowboy hat, and sucking on a cow's udders. There's a little kid in town who can see that he's an alien, and so he has an ongoing feud, like, to the death with this 10-year-old kid, where they're just at each other during the entire show.
He's trying to, like, Home Alone him.
Yes, absolutely he's trying to Home Alone him. So he breaks into his house and he's like trying to kill him, but the kid's been crying to his parents about the alien all day, so the kid screams. He's like, I can't sleep, there's an alien under my bed. And so they pick up the kid and leave. They don't even believe it. He's under the bed in alien mode, looking at the kid like, I'm gonna get you. And then he has to sneak back out of the house. And he's talking to a coworker, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so and so broke their neck because they were in a car crash and their brakes went out." And he was like, "The brakes, you say?" And so then he just immediately walks away from the conversation, walks straight to the kid's house, and clips the brakes on his bike, and just hopes for him to die.
That's top tier comedy.
There are 2 seasons of Resident Alien out. I think they're going to make more. I think it's actually 1.5 seasons with new episodes currently releasing. Please watch Resident Alien. It's just laugh out loud funny. Dark comedy, very great.
It sounds like something I would actually genuinely be interested in. Aliens, huh?
Yeah, aliens, buddy.
You think aliens actually live among us?
I think that we've probably been trying to figure it out wrong the whole time. I think this planet is probably full of alien creatures.
Yeah, man. I saw this clip from a comedy show, and everyone's laughing, and this lady in the audience is like, "What's funny?" And like this guy explains comedy shows to her, and then he starts telling a joke, and just like 4 words in, she starts laughing. He's like, "That wasn't it," and like she doesn't understand comedy, and so I was like, "Is she an alien?"
I don't know if... See, you're thinking aliens like people. I think, like, jellyfish might be aliens.
Yeah, like
squid.
like an octopus. Yeah.
Like a deer. You know, we might be fucking aliens. Maybe we're not even from this planet, and we're just, like, some bacteria off of a meteor. That's what I think is probably all of it is aliens.
Nah, man, I think it's like Men in Black. Like, straight up.
Man.
Like, you see them every day. You know?
Yes.
Awesome.
Like that one guy that puts mayonnaise on, like, you know... watermelon, and you're like, huh, look at it's gross.
Who eats a cheeseburger with a knife and fork and then a steak with his hands and just look at him sideways.
I think they're here, man. Alright.
Also on Peacock is a rom-com that we just stumbled on called Meet Cute. It has the female from Big Bang Theory, the female lead from that, the one who voices Harley Quinn.
Kaylee Cuoco?
It's got Kaylee Cuoco and Pete Davidson, and it is a Groundhog Day movie where she's like suicidal, and she's going back in time to try to fix their relationship. And I don't want to spoil too much because, as Groundhog movies are, it's a little sci-fi-ish, and there's some little twists in it. It's not great, but it's watchable. We watched the whole thing, and it was good enough for me to remember that I watched it. Some movies just go in one eye and right out the other, but if you're looking for a little rom-com, if you like Katie Cuoco like I do, and you like Pete Davidson like I do, then you'll probably think this movie's just fine. I already like them, so they've got that going for them. If you hate them, you'll probably hate this movie.
Sometimes I think that Pete Davidson, like, read my diary with the women he goes after.
Your dad died in 9/11?
Oh.
What?
Whoa,
No.
Gary. Whoa.
What?
Pete Davidson's dad died in 9/11.
I didn't say that he's copying my whole life. I said he read my diary.
Yeah,
in
he wrote
regards
that in his diary.
In regards to women that I would pick.
You know,
your internet browser is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
there you go. Yeah.
much better. Yeah, there's no 9/11 joke buried in there.
Why would there be a 9/11 joke buried in my
Ha
diary?
ha 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 ha! The towers blew up.
Oh, okay. You're making fun of me. I got you.
No.
I like you told me all these things not to say, and here we are making 9/11 jokes.
No, here Gary is.
I would like to be clear that enough time has passed.
Never forget, Gary. Never forget. Jesus Christ. All right.
Yeah, no, it's no longer too soon. 9/11.
It was nice. It was nice having a podcast. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry. Don't cancel us too hard.
Watching anything good or what?
How am I supposed to follow that? All right. Well, I mean, let's stay on the hot topics, man. Rings of Power. Been watching, been loving. It's been great. I don't know. It's a great adaptation, for sure. I don't know what's going to happen, man. I have no idea what's about to happen anymore. The bad guy had another appearance here in this most recent episode. Making orcs stick their arms in the sunlight and burn, and asking them how it feels, and a bunch of weird stuff, man. But it's very clear that I have no idea who that guy is, actually. And I'm excited.
Is he Sauron? Maybe?
No, I don't think so. He's some other guy.
I think he's just a warlock. They're gonna have to invent some characters to throw some villains.
Yeah.
in.
Well, so not to spoil anything really, but one guy swore fealty to Sauron in front of that guy.
Yeah.
To try to appease him, and he was pissed. So he's definitely something
I
else.
remember that.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty true. I was surprised with the whole thing with Theo just coming out and being like, "Hey, I found this evil sword," and then like, I thought it was cool that the elf then just uncovered that statue, and it's like, "Hey, look, there's history all around us." It just goes to show what a rich world that it really is. This latest episode, we got a lot of information. They did a lot of deep lore stuff. I don't want to spoil too much for Gary, because Gary didn't see all of it.
Yeah,
But
I did see some kind of wizard hunters show up looking at Gandalf's crater in the ground, though.
Yeah.
That seemed like a neat twist.
I had no idea what's up with that, yeah.
That was fucking cool.
The guy who looks just exactly like Eminem.
Yeah, who's that guy?
He looks like the... He looks like that guy. But I remember him being shown, like those shots being shown before the show came out. People were like, "Oh, then look what they did to Sauron. He looks stupid." It's like, that's Sauron. What are you doing? But no, they
first saw the white cloaked figures on the hill, because it just one at first, and then you see the rest very quickly after. I thought it was Saruman coming to find him, and I was like, "Yeah, fucking Saruman!"
I thought the same thing.
It'd be cool.
So I'm glad. Because
It's bound to happen. It is Gandalf.
I initially thought it might be as well. Gary said that he's sure, and after this last episode, I also definitely agree. I think it's Gandalf.
Yeah, like
I can't wait for Saruman.
He's hanging out with all the
to show
proto.
up. Saruman's like 1,000 years old. Also, he's also a wizard god, but he's been around.
Well, so here's
and he's good all the way up until the movies. The movies.
Yeah.
That's the whole twist: is that Saruman is no longer good.
He could be. He could be.
Yeah, he's going to be a hero through this whole series when he shows up, and I can't wait for that.
So,
I'm so excited for Hero Saruman.
So there's an interesting thing that So there's one thing that happened in the show that made me question whether or not it's Gandalf. He is trying to heal his arm that he had hurt during an encounter with some wolves, and the water freezes when he puts his arm in it, and the ice like creeps up his arm and stuff like that. And earlier in the show, they said that kind of cooling happens in the presence of great evil. And so I'm wondering if it really is. But the other thing is, I started wondering who these halflings are he's with, because Gandalf has always had a particular interest in Bilbo's line. You know what I mean? Like, he was friends with Bilbo's mom. And I'm starting to wonder if it just goes all the way back and, like, this girl is the furthest back ancestor of the Tooks and the Bagginses.
I was initially wondering if these were different halflings. If these are, meadow halflings, forest halflings, or they're just in a different part of the world doing a different thing. But I'm starting to suspect that they're going to just set up the Shire and stay there.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen, too.
They're like proto-halflings.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're still in the caravan phase.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and that's what kind of started me thinking on this path, that maybe this girl is, like, the first Took, Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I thought that was really cool just to see. After all that, you get a little bit of Numenor and that nonsense. That nonsense has been going on a little too long.
She has been at that island talking about leaving on a boat for a long, long time.
It's a little long.
And Galadriel, I'm liking her less and less as the show goes on. She's really bullheaded, and her acting is pretty fucking flat. Her fighting is badass, though.
Did you see the fight scene in this episode?
The one I saw the sword fight where she was trying to. The guy who got promoted to lieutenant.
Oh yeah, that was badass.
I saw that one.
That was badass. Stuff happened. Things got moving. I think they finally set sail at the end after some shenanigans. So
Did the dwarf get to the Elven City yet? Because that should have happened in episode 3.
Yes.
The dwarf got to the Elven City. He really, really screwed with the Elven Emperor. That shit was hilarious. You remember that, Zach?
Yeah.
So, like, they're sitting at this table, Gary. You're going to love this. They're sitting at this long table made out of, like, like a giant, like one piece of geode, like a beautiful stone table, and like the dwarf is all like harumphery, like he's all upset. They're like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "This stone is sacred. Like whenever we find it, it's so rare that we only use it for sacred purpose, like tombstones, temples." And then like they agreed to send him home with it because it means so much to him. And later it comes, he's like, "Nah, my wife just really wanted a table."
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, and this is funny. But that scene, I think Zach will agree. So this is one of the coolest things I've seen in the show yet.
The mithril part?
The mithril part. So, the king obviously had a second agenda with this whole sending the dwarf to, the elf to the dwarf, looking for mithril. Because they believe that the light of the Eldar lies within it. And he explains the origin of where they think mithril came from. And it has to do with, like, the greatest elven hero of all time, pouring his energy into a tree to stop a Balrog. He's doing battle with a Balrog on the mountaintop, and then lightning strikes the tree and like cements this battle of good and evil, and crystallizes it, sends it into the mountain. And it was super dope, man. Super dope. So like they're doing some
lightning. The lightning travels through the tree, through the roots, into the mountain, and then just like all veins all the way through all of the rock.
Hell yeah,
bro! Like they're doing some
cool visual.
They're doing some cool lore building. It's really sick. But yeah, and then the episode ends like there's going to be a battle between elves and men, or between orcs and humans. And that's what we're expecting next episode, man. I think next episode is going to be the best one yet.
Good. I needed to see some battle. There hasn't been a whole lot of action since the trench.
I think there's going to be a major battle next episode.
But it's cool to me that I can just say the trench and we all know what I'm talking about because that scene is something iconic about it.
Instant classic, man.
It was fucking awesome.
It was so cool. Yeah, so that's Rings of Power. Rings of Power is good. You guys been keeping up on Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I've been watching that Thrones. I'm actually...
It finally feels like Game of Thrones.
I'm not excited for the next episode.
The next episode, I don't know how to feel about it all, man.
The time jump?
Yeah. So this past episode, the wedding happens, and then doesn't happen, and then does happen. I don't want to give too many spoilers for people at home, but, there's a fight, there's a death, there's intrigue, the queen is up to something, but then... Yeah, in the next episode part, you find out that they're going to do the time jump. Like, 10 years, something like that?
Yeah, new
something
actresses.
like that.
And they're going to recast everybody. I think that's a real bummer, man.
I do, too.
Because I think that the queen, I think the queen's really good. Alicent's really good. The princess, who's the heiress... Fantastic actress. She does a killer job. I don't know why she can't just be older. Like, just say she's older.
I completely agree.
Slap some makeup on her.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Just tell me she's 20 now. Whatever. I don't give a shit. Tell me she's 28. I'll buy it.
Yeah. She doesn't look that young. I don't know. It's just... It almost feels insulting. Like, you guys built up this series so much around these characters, then all of a sudden, like, get out of here! You're all fired! Like...
Yeah, you spent this entire time building a series with these characters that I want to watch that you're now getting rid of. So now you're going to have to get me back on board with your show again. I know they're the same characters, but that's not the same performance, and it's not the same actor or actress. So I'm curious to see how I feel after this week's episode, but I'm just not excited for it. That's just what I just wanted to put that out there. I'm not happy already.
I'm also annoyed with, like, the king's going to die any day now. And then at the end of the episode, he collapses to the ground. And then they're like, 10 years later... He's still alive.
Yeah, this dude was like gonna die in the first episode, though. Like in the first episode, he's like taking over his body, and now we're like 20 years down the road. Yeah, he needs to die. Come on now. I'm past ready for that king to die. I thought the wedding scene was really cool. I loved Alicent coming down wearing the green dress instead that signaled to the old world that she was, rebelling. And kind of signaled them to rebel. That's great, planting the seeds. Just because I think Rhaenyra lied to her a few too many times. I think Rhaenyra
Oh yeah.
Took advantage of that friendship and really pissed off her friend.
Yeah, but who fucked whose father, though? That's kind of, you know what I mean? That's kind of like a hard...
Yeah, but I fucked your dad dozens of times and we're still tight.
Oh, boy. Fresh out the box, everybody. I love you, Dad.
I do, too.
Oh, man. I don't know if he'd be mad or if he would laugh if he heard that shit.
Looking forward to more Targaryen shenanigans. I'm looking forward to seeing Doctor Who do some more nasty stuff. I like that Doctor Who.
He's awesome.
He's great. I love Matt Smith. Yeah, I don't know. They had me more before they lost me in the last 10 minutes and then the preview for next episode. That's where they lost me. And I was
too busy being mad about the actresses being replaced to notice what he's up to in the next episode.
That's exactly what I meant too. It's the replacement is what's bothering me. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Zach, what you been watching, man?
I haven't watched a whole lot lately. The water cooler shit that you guys always talk about. But one cool thing, I don't know how I missed it. It's on Netflix. Came out a year ago. There's a documentary on one of my favorite bands, Sparks. If you're not familiar, they've been around since the 70s.
Enough for the both of us.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They fucking rule. They invented new wave in the 70s before new wave was a thing, and they were kind of ahead of the game their entire career, and it didn't necessarily work out for the best for them. Some of their stuff got a little weird in the 80s. A lot of weird electric synth stuff that people weren't ready for. Gary might actually love it.
I actually love the Sparks, and I've actually seen most of that documentary. I didn't finish it, but I love their vibe. The brothers play off each other really well. And also, they're just funny. They're quirky and weird and funny.
None of their songs are serious. They
definitely do like the smell of their own farts a little bit, though.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, they have one song called So Tell Me, Mrs. Lincoln, besides that, how was the play? Which I think is...
Oh, that's very good. That reminds me of that thing I was talking about earlier with the airplanes and the buildings.
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy.
So tell me, Mr. Bush.
I mean, if you asked him, he would just...
How was the presidency?
I mean, he would just say everything went according to plan.
No, but yeah, the documentary, it's a little over 2 hours. It spans their entire career from the early 70s when they kind of were at the beginning of the 70s glam rock scene that was really big in the UK, but they're an American band. They're from California, and a lot of people for a long time thought they were a British band because they would tour with David Bowie and Mott the Hoople and T-Rex and all those other big 70s glam bands in the 70s. And forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, it spans their whole career. It goes through the 80s, through all their electronic stuff, and then towards pretty recently they did an album with Franz Ferdinand, and then a few years ago, before COVID, they did a tour. It was a little mini tour. It was, I think, 25 nights in a row, or however many. They played every single one of their albums from start to finish. So they had to relearn 300 songs that they haven't played in 40 years.
That's awesome.
And yeah. So, and then, apparently the first half of the concerts where they played the album, and then the second half they did their greatest hits. So you didn't miss out if it was your first and only time seeing them. You'd still get the, see This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us, or Amateur Hour, or one of their bigger hit songs. But I can only imagine, just as a musician myself, just having to learn that many songs that you have. One, just to learn that many songs in general, especially ones that you wrote that you don't even remember.
Or the ones that you wrote that you think are super cringy that you never want to hear again. And you're like, no, I have to relearn this piece of crap.
I always forget I met Zach at a Battle of the Bands.
That's true, we did. Yeah. At a church Battle of the Bands.
A church Battle of the Bands, yeah. Back in high school.
Yeah. You guys were
there was that one.
POD or what?
No, it was that one church in Katy that like just also supported like local rock bands.
They just wanted to get the kids in.
Like I played in it once or twice, and one of the shows I did, I think out of the 10 bands, I think like 6 or 7 of them all played War Pigs by Black Sabbath. It kind of became a running cat.
I know one of those. I know one of those bands. One of them was a kid from my high school. Yeah.
Yeah, like one person played it, and then like another band was planning on playing it, so they just did it anyway. And then kind of everyone's like, "Do you guys know War Pigs? Do you guys want to do it too and just make it a thing?" So then everyone just ended up playing War Pigs, and each time it just got funnier and funnier and a bigger reaction from the crowd. It was great. But anyway, Sparks, great band. Listen to all their albums.
And Sparks does not have a War Pigs cover.
They do. Surprisingly, they don't.
I am surprised.
I think Cake does, though.
They do, and it's not very good.
Yeah, it's not.
Also on Netflix, that's where you watch Sparks Brothers. I watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Have you watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners yet? Either one of you?
I do enjoy a good edging.
Advertised.
Jahan said he got a good edging.
I watched some of it. I watched a little bit of it. Man, dude, I think I mentioned to somebody that I was watching like the first episode and my mom was there. And then there's just like full-on vaginal intercourse on screen. And my mom's like, "Oh my god!" Because like it's a cartoon, so she wasn't expecting to see vaginas.
And it happens more than once, as you can expect in a cyberpunk setting. For those of you who don't know, cyberpunk is a dystopian future, and it's vulgar. There's lots of sex and nudity and violence, and the show delivers on each and every one of those fronts.
It's like post-vulgar, man. It's weird.
It's only like 10 episodes, I think. Maybe even 8. But they do a time jump in the series, too, which really helps push the story along, and it doesn't feel like you're just crawling along this, like, weekend of adventuring. It feels like you're following this character through his life.
So it's not a high school story the whole time?
It's not a high school story the whole time.
Because, like, so I watched the first few episodes, and I liked it a lot. It was really cool. I liked that, like, that's what makes this character the protagonist. He has this experimental tech that he can use better than most people. That's pretty cool. But like, it started getting too high school anime for me, and I was like, eh.
It really is a true-to-heart anime the whole time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like an American-produced anime, and I don't think it is. I think it is a Japanese anime. And it feels like it. It reads like it, but they get out of the school crap. They even do so much to age the character, like maybe 10 years or so, or 8 years at one point. So he's actually like a man. He's not even a young man.
That's cool.
The story is deep. They deal with how the cybernetic implants will take away your humanity. Sort of the more implants you have, and the more you use them, the more they strip you of your humanity, which can cause cyber psychosis, which makes you a rampaging machine person who just murders at will. So, like I said, the violence, that's where the violence comes from. These hyper-violent scenes, or cyber psychos just wiping police squads out and just killing innocent people. Totally nuts. I can't believe that this show came out so well. I had no expectations. I didn't know it was coming out, and it dropped, and I love it. I would love another season of Cyberpunk.
The animation's really solid. I enjoy how it opens up with him doing, what do they call them, dives?
The brain dance.
Yeah, he does a brain dance of somebody who goes cyber psycho and kills a bunch of cops. And a brain dance essentially is when you relive someone else's experience from like a chip in their brain. And so
I could record myself going to the grocery store on a USB drive and come back home and upload it.
And then you can go to the grocery store, yeah.
Yeah, you could download it, and you would be me going to the grocery store.
But in this context, it's usually murdering people, having sex, or dying. So like,
overdosing is a big one.
It's pretty intense, because then you get all the muss, none of the fuss. But yeah.
And you just take off your headset and you're right back to normal, but you had all the effects of feeling what it was like to overdose to death. Cyberpunk's a crazy world.
Cyberpunk's crazy, man. But like, hey, man, who knows where our society's headed, you know, so who's to say?
In the toilet.
one of the biggest pillars of the cyberpunk setting is that corporations own everything. They own the police, and they own medicine, and they own the cars and the streets and the guns, and they own it all. And so, you know, at least we're trending that way. At least we have that.
So you mean just like America?
Uh-huh.
The corporate police state we live in? Yeah, that's true.
Anybody else have anything on Netflix that's watch-worthy?
Oh, I got the newest season of the Great British Baking Show.
Oh, boy.
It is. I love it. It's a guilty pleasure. Just with everything, especially lately, that's just been going on in the world, with everything burning and falling apart. Sometimes I just want to go be magically whisked away to the English countryside and watch a bunch of nice people make a bunch of tasty treats and be nice to each other. It's so refreshing and just nice. You know, write a little poetry before Gary and watch them bake some cookies.
What?
I know what you're talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Write some poetry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
You taught me that.
I understand. Just smoking as much weed as possible, and then watching the Great British Bake Off. Yeah.
Yeah, just watch Noel Fielding. Just
the Great British Bake Off is a fun show. I like watching the so like Jenny really likes watching that show, and we watch with my mom sometimes. Jenny likes baking, so.
No, it's so nice and relaxing.
It is. It's nice to not watch people just getting violently murdered.
Unlike a lot of other
like in 9/11.
God damn it, Carrie.
One of my favorite cooking shows is Cutthroat Kitchen, and that one is really like aggressive, right? They're talking crap to each other the whole time and trying to make each other fail, and they're buying things to bomb each other.
Sabotaging each other constantly. Mm-hmm. And then the Bake Off, there's like, hey, can you help me? They're like, yes, what do you need? And it's nice, refreshing, and wholesome. I don't know. I kind of like the new trend of wholesome TV, like Ted Lasso and Schitt's Creek. Gary's having a good time.
Also a huge fan of Ted Lasso.
Everyone is. It's perfect. Jahan, you need to get on that boat.
Yeah.
You know, that actually, I didn't even mean to have a segue set up, but I do have another show I want to talk about called Wrexham. That's Wrexham, like Wrexham. It's on Hulu. And you
is
said
it about soccer,
Lasso.
Gary? Is it a soccer show?
It is about soccer, Jahan, but not just about soccer. It's actually better than that. I thought it was a TV show. I thought it was going to be a show that was a comedy that was funny, but it's not. It's a documentary. This is a real show, really filmed, that really happened. And it's Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Ryan Reynolds. And they buy a Welsh soccer team during COVID, and now they own a Welsh soccer team. You guys should really watch this.
I think I actually knew that they did that. I just didn't know there was a show about it.
I want to know how they met each other. Why are they friends?
They haven't met each other when the show starts. Rob McElhenney just forced them to be friends. It is so funny. So I will definitely say the show is like 90% documentary. It is not 90% comedy. So if you're not big on soccer or history, it takes you all the way back in soccer history. The Wrexham field that they bought is the oldest soccer pitch in the entire world. It's from like 1901 or something. And so now they've got this awesome historical building. They've got this awesome historical team. And basically it came from Rob McElhenney just wanting to do something that was... he's a huge Eagles fan. And when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, he said it was a really big deal for Philadelphia and for the people, for his family. He said it just helped the entire community in a way that you wouldn't believe. And he wanted to be able to have the power to do that. And he started learning about soccer and how the leagues work. And your team can get demoted. Like if the New York Yankees lost all year long and then they got demoted to the minor leagues and they weren't pro next year. And now they had to play against minor teams. And so they would just crush it and then promote again. But that's how soccer works. That's how those leagues are. So they bought this really old team who's been losing for decades. So it's this huge historical piece that has been failing for like 40 years. So they want to put it back on the map. They want to help the city, help the town, help the history. And so it's just really inspiring to watch, like you were talking about with Great British Bake Off, how it just feels good. It's inspiring and it's fun, and those guys are funny, and they're funny together. And the more time they spend around each other, they're just zinging off each other nonstop. The chemistry is insane.
I don't care about sports at all, especially soccer. But I love Ted Lasso. It's one of the greatest shows ever made. And I've actually been wanting to watch this because it looks good and fun. And I like Rob and Ryan, so.
No idea I wanted to see Rob and Ryan together on the screen. But I did. And I love it.
How many episodes is it?
I've watched 3 episodes. And I just finished episode 3 before I walked in here. Episode 4 is called Home Opener, so it's their opening game. It's their first game now that they own the team. I was so fucking pumped and excited. The way it was shot and the way it ended. Like, they got a new player who they didn't think they were going to be able to get, and the way the episode ends just shows the player's name on his jersey walking out of the locker room, and then you can hear the stands start chanting his name, then it cuts to credits, and I was like, damn it, I want to see them play! And the next episode's Home Opener. So I don't know how many there are, but I'm on 4 right now, and it looks like, I'm probably not halfway through, maybe 8 from the pacing.
Doesn't sound bad.
Okay.
I would watch that.
Yeah. I definitely recommend Wrexham, Wrexham. That's on Hulu with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Did you know that Paul Rudd and Jeffrey Dean Morgan own a candy shop together?
I did not know that.
That is amazing. Where is it?
I don't know. I just remembered hearing something about that.
Zach's about to sell everything he has and move into the closest apartment.
Speaking of things that Gary recommends, so I find, I get around to your recommendations eventually. I do.
A lot of stuff to watch. I get it.
Yeah. I finally started watching Cobra Kai on Netflix. There's 5 seasons. I finished the first one pretty quickly. I'm on the second one. So far, so good. It's not the greatest show of all time or anything, but it's definitely entertaining. It's watchable, and you're right. Whenever the Cobra Kai sensei is on screen, that's when it's like the show's good.
Yeah, Johnny Lawrence is great.
I love that show.
The weirdest.
The way I've been explaining it to people is that I tell them it's like a live action anime, where like even all the high school relationship drama is solved with karate. It's excellent.
Yeah.
Literally, any problem that they have is solved with karate.
Yeah, they live in karate world. It's weird.
Now, I'm not sure if that's true because they don't ever solve anything, but they do fight a lot.
Well, that's because they have an ineffective resolution system.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he says they use karate to solve it. I don't think the karate solves it.
They try to use karate.
They try to solve their problems with karate, which in turn makes more karate happen.
Because of course it does. No, the weirdest part for me is watching...
Karate's a slippery slope.
Watching Daniel LaRusso's... whoever that actor is... playing a successful, well-adjusted person, but like when you look at him, you could tell he's a failed child actor who looks like he just got done doing all the drugs. He looks so strung out, man, and like his clothes fit funny. I don't know, man. His eyes like look so dead.
I love him. He's so tiny.
Like he just looks. It looks like they they revitalized the show, and then they're like, where is he? And they had to go dig him out of some crack house and like dust him off.
Those first 2 seasons you're watching, I believe, were the YouTube Red seasons. Whenever YouTube owned the series, so Netflix takes over in the 3rd season.
Yes.
But I think there's a really strange ending to the 2nd season where you're like, what the fuck? Because they don't know if the show has a history or not.
That's funny.
So, yeah, the season 2 finale will like forever stick out in my head as like a what moment.
I don't remember that. I marathoned it also. I'm having trouble remembering what that finale was.
I think that's the one where they have the fight in the school on the 2nd floor.
Nice. I can't wait. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that is the episode where I realized it was like an anime. It's ridiculous.
It is
It's
it's ridiculous.
Brawl in like the hall room of a high school. It's so fucking stupid, and I loved every second.
Oh, I
It's
can't
almost
wait.
like while you're watching the show, you want to ask yourself these questions like, how is it going to keep going? Who's the bad guy going to be? But you know that it's just going to be Kreese because it's Cobra Kai. And it's just always going to be Kreese every time. I love it. It almost has like a Saturday morning cartoons kind of feel to it, where you have your heroes and your bad guys and they go to fight every week.
I like how the show almost has a good message. But
Yeah,
like it
all the
doesn't
time.
really, but like almost. It's like
don't even when you get into season 5, they are like having house parties and high schoolers are just getting fucking tore up drunk all the time.
that's
And
happening in the first season.
I was watching it like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of values are these?
Well, the lesson is
also
like.
noted-
Here goes Zach.
I also noticed in this season, did they say fuck in the other seasons? Because they said fuck a lot in the 5th season.
I haven't heard them say
I
a
think
single time.
Johnny. I think Johnny's the only one who says it.
Maybe, but like everyone was saying it in the 5th season.
That's funny.
It's
like,
like-
all the kids, like everyone.
Recently in WWE, they changed their rating back to TV 14, and now everyone calls everyone a bitch. And I'm like, I'm so over it.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, no, the show's good. I like what I've seen so far. Daniel LaRusso looks awful. His wife is way too hot for him. And then,
Absolutely.
like, out of control. Where did they find that woman?
She's the only smart person in that entire show.
Yeah, she's also the only person that's like, you want to do what with karate? Like, no, like, just sweep the floor or whatever.
Bro, by season 5, I cannot believe they're still married.
I can't believe they're still married now.
It's
Yeah.
just like, how much karate are you going to keep doing?
He's like, Daniel, how old are you? Karate?
Mama! And he kicks through the window.
I can't.
Car dealership.
I also like that he became like a shitty. I also like that he's not the good guy. He's not a good person. He's kind of an asshole. Because, like, what did he do? He tried to get the rent raised to get that guy evicted, which is really messed up. And then, I don't know, man. Like, he did something else recently. I can't remember. And I was like, that's messed up, dude.
That was the entire premise of the show initially, was it was like, one of those internet theories about a movie, and it was all about how Johnny Lawrence was wronged and Danny LaRusso was the asshole in the Karate Kid movies, and it was just shown from the wrong camera view. Because
they said in the...
It's Danny LaRusso stealing his girlfriend and Danny LaRusso breaking up his friends, and Danny just basically screws up everything. So they do a good job of hammering it home. But yeah, it was a fan theory that turned into a pilot that turned into a show. And I love it. Johnny Lawrence, if it wasn't for him, I don't think that show would be watchable, though.
God, no.
Nah, he's great.
He's it.
I like the part where
Well, they also-
he explains, like, the worst night of Danny's life, where Danny's like, oh, they beat me up on Halloween. He's like, that guy, I hadn't seen that guy in months. I hadn't seen him in months. And he just comes and he, like, pours a bunch of water on me in the bathroom or something. And, like, what does he expect? I don't know. Like, he was clearly the antagonist. But, yeah, it's pretty funny.
The
show
80s were a
rules.
different time when you could run around and be the antagonist and be a little bitch, but still be the hero. We'll call you out for that now. What else? That's Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai! Yeah, man. Been watching She-Hulk still. I know Gary doesn't watch it anymore.
Fuck yeah.
But Zach likes
I love
it.
She-Hulk. I fucking love She-Hulk. I am all in. I love how light and breezy and stupid it is.
I love it, man. It's such a good... I don't know. It's...
The past 2 were okay, but episode 4 was fucking chef's kiss. Mwah.
Which one's episode 4?
The one with Wongers.
Oh, right.
His that party girl that just hangs out with him, who sold some demon in another dimension.
Her
like
soul,
6
yeah.
drops of her blood. I want to know more about that.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sure that's going to happen. Apparently, there's a big movement for them to be a couple, which is funny. But no, I loved... Episode 4 is great. I really liked the most recent one with the wedding. I thought it was pretty funny. I don't know. It is a lighthearted show. I like the way that they're showing the MCU, like, in an adjacent sense, you know? Like, she's not full on in it, but... don't know.
And I have a sneaking feeling that Daredevil is coming very soon.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely alluded to it.
They teased his helmet at that like superhero costume maker guy, the tailor. And he had the gold Daredevil helmet.
Yeah, apparently that's his original costume. Yeah.
That shitty, horrible mustard yellow Daredevil suit that I hate.
Yeah.
I love that costume.
It's so dumb.
Well, it's coming.
It's sick, bro. I also like the yellow, black, and red one, though.
Man, I don't know.
The only excuse for that costume is that he's blind and he doesn't know better.
And mustard yellow is for blending in Hell's Kitchen. It's because there's so many hot dog vendors on the streets of New York.
He just jumps from mustard stained sidewalk to mustard stained sidewalk.
Cart to cart. He's just hopping.
He can't see the colors, but he can smell the mustard. So he's just following his nose to stay invisible to the normies. Oh boy. But yeah, no, She-Hulk is a fun, it is much lighter show, but it's still, it's still giving you that MCU flavor.
Not everything needs to be end of the world, cosmic fucking portals everywhere. Like,
in a world full of superheroes, this kind of thing is inevitable. Yeah, exactly. I agree. It doesn't all have to be end of the world.
Yeah, it's just nice change of pace, and just we're gonna get some heavy shit later, and it's setting up a lot of cool Hulk shit for later. Like, they're obviously gonna do some kind of Planet Hulk, World Before Hulk stuff.
They're doing a lot of Hulk stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, so at the beginning of the series, they allude to there's some aliens that really want to talk to Hulk. When that spaceship runs them off the road because they're trying to talk to him about stuff. So maybe I've heard fan theories that they're like, hey, you're a dad. You got some.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna set up Young Avengers soon. They can easily replace Hulkling with Scar, Hulk's son. So
yeah,
they have almost everyone else ready to go for that. They just haven't announced it yet.
I'm looking forward to
it. Young Avengers are coming for sure.
I didn't know that Hulk's son killed Mufasa, but you learn something new every day.
Yep. I mean, it's all Disney now, so they can do whatever they want.
That's exactly it.
What else have you been watching, Gary?
I don't know what to do with that.
The last thing I've been watching is Raz Dogs, and I've talked about it a time or two. I just still recommend it. Native American show, Native American actors, directors, writers, cast, and now this cast is, like I predicted, I'm starting to see them in other things.
Bro, have we talked about this show since the big episode?
Yes.
Okay.
I still haven't seen it.
No, we haven't.
We haven't talked about it on the podcast since the big episode. So they do an episode where Big's the main character. He's the cop that no one respects. He accidentally does a bunch of hallucinogens and winds up running in the road with the meth guy, or running in the woods. He has a spiritual journey, right? They come across a secret cult of white people that claim that native land rightfully belongs to them, because the natives don't use it right, because the earth is theirs to take what they want from. And then these guys disrobe, and everyone cheers, ours, 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 as these four white guys in catfish masks have sex with fish fillets. And it's so far past the line of anything we've seen in this show so abruptly that I was like, what the fuck is going? It was so
100% perfect.
I wasn't ready, dude. I wasn't ready. Oh man. And then when those dudes are having sex with the fish corpses, Big and the other guy look at each other and both go, fucking white people. At the same time. And I died, dude. I died laughing.
I've been wanting to see it. I've heard nothing but good things from Gary for a long time, and it's Taika. I love, or at least he's producing it, right?
The show's great, man. It's great in every way. It's deep. Episodes make me cry. Like every other episode makes me cry.
Fuck yes.
The most recent episode with what's her name, Willie Jack.
Yep.
That episode made me cry.
Yeah, that was a pretty deep one.
That was a pretty deep one, man. It made me think about my ancestors and shit. You know.
So one of the sort of recurring problems they have is that one of their closest friends has killed himself right before the show starts. And so they're all dealing with that trauma of losing a close friend. In this most recent episode, Willie Jack gets a letter from the school that's like the kids wrote down what their goals and aspirations were at the start of their freshman year. And now it's their senior year, and they don't know who to give it to, so they give Daniel's letter to Willie Jack.
Because they're cousins.
And so she's fucked up, and then she takes the letter to Willie Jack's, or to Daniel's sister, who's in jail, and she's fucked up about it. And
is that his sister, or is that his mom?
I think that's his sister.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
And so then they have, like, you know, this, they're going through this trauma bonding moment together. The whole episode is about them bonding. And then they just sort of continue to bring that throughout the series as, you know, it's something we have to deal with and look at in this world, and we can't turn a blind eye to it, and it happens, and it's fucking horrible, but you can still be friends, and you can still heal and move on through it, and the show kind of constantly tries to remind you of that. And
then they show one of the most profoundly spiritual moments I've ever seen in anything before. I was like, man, like it was crazy, dude. It was very intense. I cried. It's a good show.
Very spiritual show. Very funny. And very, very sad sometimes.
I'm in.
Yeah, funny, sad, and spiritual. It's kind of like me if I was a show.
Yeah.
And speaking of Taika, I mean, it's been done for a couple weeks now, but the newest season of What We Do in the Shadows.
What a show, dude! I'm not fully caught up, but man, dude, I've been watching.
How far are you?
I don't. The energy vampire Robinson is still like a child body person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just saw the episode where they're trying to get him into a private school, and they erase that guy's mind so many times he has a stroke and dies. I was crying, dude. I was crying because they're like, "Why don't you just brainwash him into thinking that, you know, he accepted?"
Like,
yeah, and then they're like, "That's not how it works."
They're all so stupid.
They're all so stupid.
I love them so much. Oh my god.
I love What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah, it was a very good season. I liked the season before a little more, I think. But it was still great. Colin Robinson is the greatest gift to comedy in so long.
He's the best.
He's not my favorite character, but he might be the funniest character ever conceived.
I really enjoyed his when he was trying to, like, he was in love with that siren.
Yes.
That shit was hilarious. But no, that's a great show, dude. It really is. If you haven't seen What We Do in the Shadows, you're missing out. It is a vampire mockumentary.
It's so good.
It is.
Matt Berry
crushes it.
Oh my god, I love him so much, and I can't wait for his new spin-off from The Toast of London, The Toast of Tinseltown.
Oh my god.
I've only seen clips from his original show, but he's very funny.
Gary, you've seen Toast of London, right? Did I get you on that?
Yes, and I watched that show. While it was very funny, tanked really, really fast.
It's very British. So, like, if you're not a British comedy person, like, good luck. But I love his whole sense of humor, and the show ends with him accidentally burning down the Globe Theatre in London and being completely disowned from the entire theater just scene in London. Like, they have like cameos of like Martin Freeman and a bunch of other like actual big British actors, like just saying how big of a travesty it is that the Globe is burned down. And then there's a few people who suspect that it's Stephen Toast who did it. So the new show is him running away from London and moving to LA and trying to become an actor in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's going to be really funny.
I think it's going to be on Netflix.
Matt Berry's hilarious. Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows is great. Matt Berry's fantastic. And also, I got to stand for any show that has a prominent Iranian character. Makes me very happy. but yeah.
Jahan and I, whenever we play new tabletop role-playing games, when we want to flex a system to see how good it is, sometimes we'll try to make Craig Robinson to see if the system can support an energy vampire.
Yeah, he's our like gold standard of can you make Craig Robinson in this game? And a lot of games, yes.
I can't remember the order of the episode, but have you seen the wedding episode of the newest season, Jahan?
Yes.
Where Laszlo and Nadia's wedding song that they sing, the "Who Comes First" on the wedding night.
Yeah. Oh my god,
Very
dude,
good.
I was dying. Nandor using up all his wishes, just on ridiculous crap. It's so funny.
Nandor with like the 8,000 wish genie is such a good bit.
Such a good bit. And then the genie for a wedding gift gave him a smaller lamp with like 3 wishes. He's like, "Can I wish for 8,000 wishes?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Meh," and he like puts it aside like he doesn't care. It's so good, man.
I don't know if you're there yet. It's not a huge spoiler, but there's just a running gag in one of the later episodes. He like is starting to like modify his looks with wishes, and he ends up just looking like fucking Jocelyn Wildenstein, that like tiger lady with so much plastic surgery.
Yeah, he looks ridiculous.
Like he's all puffy and it's like. I was like, "What have you done with your face?" Like, "Nothing. I haven't done anything with my face. What are you talking about?"
He can't open his eyes. Yeah, it's really funny. Honestly, he just looks like
good.
It's really funny. I mean, that's just Iranians when they move to California. That's just how that works.
They all moved to Glendale.
What else you been doing, Zach? You said you're excited for some stuff coming up.
I am. They're going back to the kind of music documentary. It just came out, I think, last week. There's a new David Bowie documentary called Moonage Daydream. It's narrated, I think, by David Bowie, like through like archival footage, and it's a bunch of unreleased footage of like interviews and live performances, and it's like designed to be seen in IMAX, and it just looks incredible. And I'm an enormous David Bowie fan, so I'm very excited for this. I just haven't had time to go to the theater to go see it.
It's like a movie in a theater. It's not a streaming movie? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only in theaters. Like,
wow.
And it's like designed for IMAX. So that has to be fucking awesome.
That's interesting. I feel like that would be a fun show.
You guys big Bowie fans?
I'm not a huge Bowie fan.
Not a huge Bowie fan.
But I do like music documentaries and music history and stuff, so I would certainly enjoy it.
I didn't realize he was a singer for a long time. I just knew him as the guy from The Labyrinth. So, you know.
The Goblin King. It'll be on streaming soon, probably, because everything only lasts in the theater for like a couple weeks, and then they put it on streaming, so.
Yeah, I'll catch
you
this
won't have
on
to...
HBO Max at some point, probably.
Yeah. But I kind of want to go see it in the theater. I'll probably get high as fuck and then go to IMAX and just absorb all of the Stardust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then you might rub off on other Bowie fans, that's probably what you're looking for.
Yeah, do all the Stardust and rub off on Bowie fans. Sounds like a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly probably all he wants for his legacy.
For his fans to rub Stardust on each other. You're not wrong.
That is the best way to honor David Bowie.
Make sure you Stardust up when you go then.
Ooh, I mean, I got glitter somewhere around here.
Coming to theaters near you. Just don't go see it in 3D.
Oh yikes! that bulge 3D.
Oh man,
it was sitting on your chin the whole time.
That bulge was made for 3D. And what you been
the only thing I'm excited for. I don't play a lot of video games anymore. I'm a PlayStation guy, so I play the big story games that come out once a year or so.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very excited for the sequel to the new line of God of War games, the God of War Ragnarok. The God of War 4, the first one of the Norse Pantheon, is one of the greatest games I have ever played. I haven't played any of the other God of War games, but I know enough about video game culture that I know Kratos goes and kills all the gods. It's hack and slash. There's nothing to it. The newest God of War, the story's amazing. It's emotional. The acting's great. The action's great. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it if you haven't played it. And then the new one looks even better. Oh my God, Gary.
What? Go on. We're talking about God of War.
No, yeah, man, PlayStation. I'm glad you brought out PlayStation. I've been playing a lot of PlayStation games lately on my computer. I recently
played God of War.
No, it's on my list. It's coming up. Recently, I beat Spider-Man.
God, so good.
One of the best games I've ever played. Right now, I'm playing Days Gone. I just got really far in it. It's really good. And then I played some of The Last of Us, also very good. But yeah, God of War looks great. These big story games for PlayStation, man, they live up to the hype.
Yeah, I'm like the opposite kind of gamer as Gary. Like, I don't play anything online multiplayer. Whenever I want to play a video game, I want to be alone and not talk to another person and just immerse myself into a world or a story.
I do.
That's why I love Deep Rock Galactic, because the ping system is so good that you can play with other people and never have to speak to them.
That's good.
When you ping stuff, your character calls it out vocally, like, "Hey, there's ammo over here," so you don't have to say shit. I love playing that game with random people.
Yeah, I love like all the Uncharted games and like the Spider-Man game that you just finished. Like all those big, like Last of Us, all those PlayStation staples at this point.
Yeah,
they're all so good.
I'm looking forward to God of War for sure.
Hey, I saw a new clip. You get to fight Thor, and I'm hoping that if you kill him, you get Mjolnir, because that's gonna be fucking sick to have the axe that you throw and come back, and then also have Mjolnir that you can throw and come back, and just fucking dual wield, throwing shit around. It's gonna be fucking tight.
If you're some kind of no PlayStation, no PC, have an Xbox type of dweeb, Assassin's Creed Odyssey came out this week on Game Pass. So you can play your own Mediterranean-based adventure game where you stab and kill gods. It's just not as good. But it is free on Game Pass.
You kill gods in that game?
Actually, yes, you do. You take...
I thought it was an assassin game.
It's gone through some changes over the years.
I've only seen my brother.
There's
play
30 of them.
I think the first two. I know. I've only seen bits of like the first two, and I was like, that looks fine, whatever. But I'm not for me.
Every single one of the games is better than the movie.
You loved that movie, though.
I don't. That's one of the worst movies anyone's ever seen. That's a 0 out of 10.
But yeah, so we've done a lot. We talked about a lot. It's been a great show. It's been great.
Who are you trying to convince?
It's been great having Zach on. We're probably going to have to put some sort of parental advisory on this episode.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, thank you everyone for listening to Fresh Out the Podcast. Next time we will do the thing we did this time. But yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Johannan.
It's me, Casualty CDG. If you like tabletop role-playing games, that's where Jahan and I pretend to be other people doing other things, where we play Make Pretend. If you like playing Make Pretend and you want to see us play Make Pretend with friends, come by every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to Fresh Out the Box at twitch.tv/Johannanon. Also, don't forget to tell all your friends and enemies about Fresh Out the Podcast.
And I am your special guest, Zach DeVille. You can follow me at all the socials at Zach DeVille. If you're in Houston and you want to see some live entertainment, maybe some sexy people take their clothes off while I make bad jokes and sing some songs, come out and see me. I got a lot of shows coming up. I had 2 sold-out shows last night, so that's why I sound a little rough. I got home at 4 a.m. It was a lot. Yeah, 1,200 people. It was a lot, but it was fun.
Yeah, everybody, thanks for listening. Stay fresh.